is true. An underwater explorer says he may have found the remains of Christopher Columbus's ship, the Santa Maria. That's what he says. More than 500 years after it sank in the Caribbean, the ship, the Santa Maria, is somehow salvageable. If the claim is confirmed, the experts say it would go down as one of the most significant underwater discoveries ever. And that's an enormous if. Of course, the Santa Maria was one of the 3 ships that Columbus sailed across the ocean during his historic voyage in 1492. Of course, the Nina and the Pinta were the other 2. He and his crew eventually arrived in what's now the Bahamas. But just a few months later, the historians say Columbus abandoned the Santa Maria after it struck a reef. This image shows a replica of that cargo ship. Somebody built it in the early 90s. That is the replica. So they're trying to get us to believe now that they have found the Santa Maria. Let's get over here to our wall. That's the underwater explorer said the wreck was hitting the bottom of the sea off the northern coast of Haiti. This is Cap Haitian now. It wasn't at the time, but it is now. He says he used Columbus' own diary entry to help find the ship's location. A representative for that explorer says this photo, this one here, shows the area where he believes that he's found the historic shipwreck. The Santa Maria has been located. Color me skeptical. Leah Gabriel is with us on the Fox News deck. Okay, let me know.
Well, Shep, the lead archaeologist in this case says that they basically narrowed from those historical documents that you mentioned, like that diary, that they narrowed it down and that they knew that the wreck had to have occurred in this certain bay off Haiti. He says that this is the only wreck that actually could be the Santa Maria. He says that his team dove on everything in the bay that had a piece of iron weighing more than 10 pounds, shot more than 400 possible sites, and they eliminated them one by one. Well, the wreck now believed to be the Santa Maria is one of the sites that they actually first eliminated after studying it back in 2003.
So in 2012, after doing research, I woke up in the middle of the night and it was like, oh my God, we've discovered the smoking gun.
Well, that quote-unquote smoking gun that he's talking about, he says is actually a unique 15th century cannon. And Shep, they said that when they first discovered this in 2003, that they didn't actually think it was even a cannon.
It would have huge historical significance, obviously.
It would. You know, as children, one of the first things that we learn in our history classes, American history, is, in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Well, we have a depiction of Columbus here that we're going to show you as he's discovering the New World. And you can see in the background here, there's this flotilla of ships. Of course, the one that he was on was the Santa Maria. Well, the lead archaeologist is planning to excavate the site to find scientific evidence that this is actually the Santa Maria, but he says that he's certain.
I think it has to be recognized as the ship that changed the course in human history. It has to be preserved. We should get together and figure how to preserve this for humanity. It's extremely important. There's nothing going to be like this again. It's only going to happen one time, and it has to be done correctly.
Now, sadly, he also said that many of the artifacts, including that cannon that I mentioned, have since been looted from the site. But, Shep, the good news is they said that they do have pictures. It's been there all this time, and nobody has ever found it. And now this guy found it. Well, he said that for one thing, he said that what you find is basically a big pile of ballast rocks, ballast rocks that were used to ballast the ship. And he said, so it's not something that's very obvious. When you look at the pictures, it's not. But so what they're going to do next is just the scientific evidence to determine if this is the ship. Leah, thank you.
He knows a lot about Christopher Columbus. I heard you earlier today saying he's got inside his brain. But how sure is he that this really is this ship?
He's pretty darn sure. There's a lot of evidence out there, and I should note that we're doing this under the watchful gaze of Mr. Columbus himself here in Columbus Circle in New York. He's pretty sure. There's the physical evidence that they found under the water. Those rocks you're looking at right now are actually what he believes is the ballast pile from the ship. There is the diary of Columbus himself, but here he is talking about some of the evidence that he has.
Water. We're looking under in 20 feet of clear water for a big pile of stones that's about 40 feet long and 20 feet wide, which would be the fingerprint of the Santa Maria.
So those stones are the ballast weight for that ship, and he believes that the size of it, the weight of it, is about right for the Santa Maria, a fairly small ship for even its day. But the big eureka moment for him was when they found a cannon, basically, something called a lombard, which is sort of a cannon with both ends open. He believes that indicates that this is most likely the Santa Maria. Now they have to go in and prove it. He thinks it could take, at best, 6 months, probably longer, to work out all of the details to get in there and actually, they're looking at the Lombard right now, to get in there and find out if they can find any trinkets, any of the thing that they think Columbus may have been taking back to Spain when he was about to leave the New World for the first time. An amazing, amazing story.